Hi, I'm Chang. I'm from VIA Value Investing Academy. Now, thank you for your patience for watching all the videos that I've sent it to you. I hope that you have learned quite a bit from it. So before I continue, now, by the way, just to let you know that this will be the last video for this series of videos. And let's go back to what we have learned from video number 1. So video number 1, I've talked about how to become a business owner, because the richest people in the world, they are all business owners rather than work for a business. And the second thing is we have spoke about what kind of assets that are going to make us wealthier. We are going to focus on assets that give us passive income rather than assets that don't produce income. And once we have assets that produce income, when passive income is more than expenses, then we become financial free. Not only that, we can use passive income to buy more and more assets so that we can become wealthier and wealthier. And I talk about there's one kind of asset which is very unique, so that if you invest in them, whatever income that you're going to generate in the next 1 year is going to far supersede whatever your friends is going to generate in the next 8 years in total. And I introduced this thing called ETF, or Exchange Traded Funds. So I give you a brief history about what are index and what are index funds. For example, there are index funds such as STI ETF. There are index funds such as S&P 500 ETF, Nikkei 225, Hang Seng Index Fund, and so on. And the most recent video, I've shared with you why we need to invest in ETFs and how exactly you do it. But there will be some people who say, hey, Cayden, are there certain ways that we can generate more money than index funds, which is already 8%? Now, if you are able to generate 8% in 1 year, am I right to say that you're going to make much more than whatever your friends is going to generate in the next 8 years? Why? Because if you're able to get 8% per year and your friend is only able to get 1% per year, let's say put it in the bank. So this to this, in fact, you're making 8 times more, isn't it? So how do we make even more than 8 times? Now, before I do that, let me share with you the kind of passive income that some of you may already invest in. For example, most of the people I know, they put money in the bank. Now, so if you put money in the bank, what kind of passive income, what kind of return are we looking at? Maybe 0.8%, maybe 0.5%, depending on the bank. But let's say it's 1%. So it's on a per year basis. And some people may be more intelligent, they do some homework, and they may discover something called bonds. There are many types of bonds. And the Singapore saving bonds is able to give predominantly about 1.5 to 2%, and more than 2% in the long run. So 2% per year. Wow. So this is already 2 times more than this. And of course, this one everybody knows, CPF, you're Singaporean. Ordinary account, 2.5, and then special account, 4%. The smarter ones, what they'll do is they'll take some of the money from 2.5 and then deploy into 4%. So 2.5 to 4 is almost like double. But of course, bear in mind that when you shift the money to here, it's an irreversible process. So if you are able to get 4%, it's actually 4 times more than putting it in the bank. Bear in mind that you cannot take it out. So 4 times. And of course, there's something called REITs, which stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. So REITs typically on a yearly basis is able to get 5% to maybe up to 9%, or some maybe even 10%. So if you are able to invest in this, am I right to say that you are getting 5 times more than at the bank, or 9 times more than at the bank? And you realize that as I go higher and higher, the returns get more and more. But in order for you to get more and more returns, the level of knowledge, of course, has to be increased. So if you're not willing to learn, like you're not willing to watch this video, then you have to put money in the bank. Then we already spoke about ETF. So give a guess, reversion. What do you think ETF stands for? Exchange Traded Funds. This one typically depends on what kind of index fund. The S&P 500 on average maybe is around 9%, yep, which is quite a lot. So 9% is 9 times more than the bank, or even more. And the last one that I want to talk about is something that not many people know, or they don't know, but they heard about it. And this thing is called a stock or a business. Now, if you are able to do it right, it's highly possible that you're going to generate about 10% per year. Now, provided you gain the knowledge. So if you're able to get 10% per year, am I right to say that this is 10 times more than what you're going to get in a bank? So now the question is, yeah, of all these lists, you say that, hey, Cayden, I'm going to invest in stock right now. So how do you go about it? Let me just simplify the process of how you can invest in a stock using a three-step process. And investing can be simple as A, B, and C. So how do you invest in a business? First thing, A stands for assess. You must be able to assess whether the business is a good business or a bad business. Now, if you invest in a bad business, you're not going to get 10%. You're probably going to lose all of your savings. So it's important for us to invest in a good business. But even if you assess and you found that the business is good, you're not going to pay at an infinite price. You want to buy it cheap. So in Singapore context, we call it cheap and good, which is why some people go to JB, have seafood, buy petrol, buy cigarettes, and so on. So in order for us to B, which actually stands for buy, we need to make sure that it's cheap and versus expensive. So if you are able to find a cheap and a good stock, then there's a high chance that you're going to make more money. So once you buy it cheap, the question is, what is really C? C is cash it out. Or sometimes people say sell it away. So you want to buy low, and you want to cash it out, and you want to sell high. So these are the three simple steps of you can own the business. Assess to buy a good business, cheap, buy it low, and then cash it out when it's very expensive. So now the question is, why is it important for us to buy a good business and not a bad business? Now this question may sound a bit common sense, but I can tell you most of the people that I know, they lose money because they couldn't differentiate between the good and the bad ones. Now in the Singapore Stocks Exchange, there are about 780 companies. But out of these 780 companies, in fact, most are crap. Now I think the Singapore Stock Exchange is going to kill me for saying this. So most of it are, doesn't work. They are bad business. And in the US, for example, there are 3,600 companies, plus minus. It changes all the time. And for 3,600, maybe 50 companies are good, and then the rest are average or not so good. So can you imagine you go inside a stock exchange, invest in any company without any knowledge, and most of it are crap? So what's going to happen to your hard-earned savings? Now, you're going to waste all your money away. So why is it important for us to find a good business? Now, I'm going to share with you the last very important thing. Now, most people, when they invest in a stock, they couldn't differentiate between what is really a stock and what is a business. Now, let me explain to you what's the difference between these two. Now, remember, behind every stock is a business. So if you buy Starbucks stocks, you need to be aware that outside in the road, there are physical business. Starbucks is actually selling coffee. So the stocks that you buy, the Starbucks stock that you buy, actually have the physical business that's running. So if you own a stock, do you want the share price to go up or go down? Obviously, it's up. In order for the share price to go up in the long run, do you want the business to make money or lose money? Yeah, obviously the business has to make money. Now, what if happens if the business lose money or the business announce that, hey, today we're going to close? What will happen to the share price? Will the share price go up or down? Now, the share price is going to go down. So the most important question is, which one comes first? Will the share price go up first, then the business make money? Or the business make money first, then the share price go up? Now, let me give you a couple of seconds to think it through. If you are able to answer this question, then you may not lose money, then you'll make money. If you cannot answer this question, there's a high chance that most people is going to lose money. So what's the answer? The answer is when a business makes money, then the share price will go up. So this one has to happen first. Of course, there are some exceptions, but let's put the exception aside. Now, on the other hand, if the business keep losing money again and again, the share price in the long run eventually is going to go down. So what we are attempting to do using this ABC process is simply to find a good business. Once the business is good, you don't have to look at the stock price all day long. And some people believing that by just staring at share price every single day, the harder they stare, the share price is going to go up. Now, it's not going to work. And remember, use a simple ABC process, buy a good business. When the business is good, the share price will eventually go up. So for those people who spend most times analyzing the business, we call them investors. And for those people who spend most of the time looking at the stock price without understanding the business, or they start to predict stock prices, we call them speculators. And back to the very beginning of the video, remember, ask yourself, Bill Gates, the richest person in the world, which one will you look at? The business or monitoring the stock price? Li Ka-shing, the richest person in Hong Kong, which one does he look at? Does he look at the business first? Or do you see Li Ka-shing staring at stock price all day long, hoping that share price will go up? Obviously, he looked at the business. And Jack Ma. Now, some people mistook me for Jack Ma. So Cayden, Jack Ma, Cayden. Now, Jack Ma, who owns Alibaba, which one do you think he look at? Does he look at the business? Or does he look at the share price? Now, obviously, he look at the business. So in other words, if all of them, the richest people in the world, look at business, so why are we looking at the share price all day long and hope for that to go up? Now, in my subsequent workshop, I'm going to run very soon, in probably a couple of days or a week, I'm going to share with you in exact detail how you can assess to find a good business using a very simple tool called VIA funnel, which will only take you 2 minutes. And I'll also share with you how exactly you can find a cheap business using a tool called a VIA calculator, which will take you another 2 minutes. So 2 minutes, 2 minutes. And I'm going to share with you an exact step of how you can cash out your stocks or generate monthly income or even weekly income using a method called CFOS, which is proprietary to us. So by deploying all this method, not only you are able to generate long-term income, which is long-term, we are able to generate mid-term income every 3 months, collecting dividends, and you can also generate short-term income on a weekly basis. And I want you to imagine that every single year, you are able to make money 52 times. Wouldn't that be great? So before I end this video, I just want you to pay attention to the link right at the bottom of this video or inside my email. Just by clicking on this link, you'll be directed to the page so that in a couple of days later, you'll be able to see me live, face-to-face, and I'll share with you in exact detail how you can generate passive income much more than ETF using a simple method as simple as A, B, and C. So this is Cayden Chang from VIA, Value Investing Academy, and I sincerely hope to see all of you face-to-face very, very soon. Okay, goodbye.